5th of October 2010. The Sacred, Lecture 1, Wakan Tanka, First Idea for Contemplation. The Shaman, Lecture 2, Mysticism, Second Idea for Contemplation. Proverbs, Sayings, Sentences, Lecture 3. Wisdom, Third Idea for Contemplation, by Eleazar Harash, translated by Ruah Ezekiel, narrated by Daniel King. The Sacred, Lecture 1. Today we will speak of the Native American wisdom. The sacred person has the right gaze for the spiritual world. The true human right is a voyage towards the sacred. The living energy of the sacred person is special. The sacred person is in control in the right way because they have no right to lose their powers. Anyone and anything that hinders the sacred person makes them even stronger. When you love the sacred above all else, what is right happens. When you love the sacred, the spirits teach you how to act towards yourself. They teach you the right attitude towards yourself. And when you begin to love the sacred, light enters into your heart and guides it. And if light is guiding your heart, then the sacred has accepted you. The sacred way is an old way. It is familiar to us for centuries. And the new way is young. It destroys us. We are not kindred to the new way. The true person relates to the sacred and attaches to its soul. The world has forgotten just one thing, but it is the most important thing. This is the sacred. Only within the sacred, everything comes to be. The sacred grants the right to penetrate into inner things. The power that comes out of the sacred creates life. The sacred is something in which the secret of life can become discernible, visible. Whoever has a sacred reverence towards things, they attain their own spirit. If you do not have the sacred, you have been deprived of a way. You can occupy yourself with many things, but you have already been deprived. This is why there are such people who make a lot of efforts, many exercises, but the sacred is the primary thing. If it is not there, then your efforts will bear no result. If you think in a sacred way, you will not be human, but light. The sacred gives the ability to see into the invisible. Only the pure and sacred person carries within themselves the true essence of civilization. The true life begins and ends with the sacred. Your sacred way is invisible, but it is always beside you. You may not know where it is leading you, but you must follow it. The sacred way is the path towards the great secret. This is the only way. If you are sincere, you will come to know the sacred things. In the true ritual, the ancient sacred times come to life. In order to live, you must know the sacred. Our life is full of the sense of the sacred. The person of the sacred stands above daily things, a measure. Only the soul can tell us of our sacred essence and of the secret of peace. Peace is concealed, according to the Native American wisdom, at the bottom of the wind, i.e., within the essence of things. Whoever has within themselves a strong wind, i.e., a strong spirit, they dispel the fogs. Hardships can be called the fogs. If you wish to understand the person, you must discover their boundlessness. But we cannot utter ourselves, for we are boundlessness. Inspiration is a secret wind, the poetry of the wind. The wind has a deep hearing, it hears every leaf. The secret of life is sacred. It knows everything because it is deeper than history. It has given birth to history. We live in order to discover our boundlessness. Wakan Tanka. First idea for contemplation. Wakan Tanka, or the Great Secret, the concealed secret power. This is the power that created the universe, the rock, the four winds, the sky, Mother Earth, the sun, the moon, lightning, the human, the bison, the bear, the plants, etc. The ancient Native American wisdom says, energy is one thing, and power is another. Power is a key, which must set energy in motion. This key is a distinct kind of knowledge, insight. Energy is scattered everywhere, but power is not. Power must be summoned in order to become a key for solving something important. Spiritual power is the engine of energy. Spiritual power is the primary thing, and the key is the insight for this ancient engine. This ancient engine, this power, comes from Uakan Tanka, because he is the power. Power comes through understanding its meaning, because power is sacred and is set in motion by Uakan Tanka and by his shamans and the so-called helpers. We acquire true knowledge when to our natural energy we add a part from the higher power and from the helpers, and mostly from Uakan Tanka. Together with Uakan Tanka, everything can be, and without him, the human nature is simply a natural power, but without additional spiritual power. If this additional power is not present, the true things do not happen. Energy is everywhere, but power belongs only to him and to the ancestors. In the beginning, the whole of power was in the hands of only Uakan Tanka, the great secret, the creator, but then he gave parts of it to the heavenly ancestors, the proto-ancestors, so that they may use it and grant it to the one who is worthy, in this case, the shamans. To serve Uakan Tanka is something more than everything else in the world, and to be given this, it is the supreme benevolence. Wherever I am, says one shaman, he, Uakan Tanka, does this serving in my stead. Here is this humility. in my stead. Wherever I am, he is always in me, and I live out this irreplaceable feeling of closeness to him. Wakan Tanka always knows when I need him. He allowed me to understand that my spirit looks just the same as me. The matter is of when the person is in a body. He allowed me to understand that my spirit looks just like me. With Wakan Tanka, life is one perpetual revelation, and truly it is so. The Shaman, Lecture 2. What is the shaman? The name shaman means a sacred person, an ancient person. The shaman is the master in the realm of the spirits. The shaman dives deeply into themselves, and they interact with the spirits in a real way, because the shaman has devoted themselves to the sacred origin. The shaman is able to speak with the spirit folk. The shaman has mandatorily gone through their big suffering. We will speak of this matter more in the December lecture. The dark night of the soul. Here I will say, the shaman has passed through their great suffering mandatorily. Why? In order to purify the evil from themselves and to be transformed. To be transformed in such a way so that they become a sacred person. From then on, they are allowed to help. Until that point, they do not have a right to help. After this moment, they already have a sacred right. They already truly become a shaman, or a sacred person, free of the sickness of evil, of ego as a whole. The shaman is sacred because they have first healed the evil in themselves, and they already have the right to heal others. Otherwise, they have no right. The shaman, or the sacred one, is a master of bringing energy to life. And aside from this, they heal the person's regard towards things. Not just the sickness, but their attitude towards things, because their sicknesses are found. The person does not have a regard towards things in the most general sense, because the sick person simply has no regard. The shaman thinks differently, speaks differently, lives differently. They are not of time. The shaman is a being of the sacred, i.e. of other worlds, and the sick person is a being of time. The shaman has the right to enter into the other world. In this world, they only seemingly live. The shaman, through the sacred, lives mystically in the world of the spirits. They also mandatorily interact with a certain secret master. So aside from being governed by supreme beings, the shaman also has a particular secret master, and they learn from them in the same way the son learns from their father. The shaman is initiated into the sacred, and because of this, a gushing life bringing power pours into them, in them which truly heals. It passes through them because the shaman has passed through the big suffering, and because this is required by the sacred. This already allows this energy to pass through the shaman, as the shamans say, as if through a pipe, as the water passes through the pipe. After this transfiguration, after they have passed through the big suffering, The shaman can never again be possessed by evil spirits. The other important thing regarding the shaman, after they have passed through the big suffering, their dark night, they have overcome themselves. They can never again be possessed by evil spirits because they begin to live totally within the sacred, which they devote themselves to. They begin to live in their own secret. The shaman must mandatorily pass through initiation, i.e. through a big suffering, which means recreation, in order for the spiritual powers to be reborn and the old person in them to die. Shamans are these ones whom the spirits serve. They are like brothers. According to the shamans, the course of the person's life is determined by spirits, and everything around us has its spirits, masters. They are masters in all different areas, but these spirits the shaman can influence. When there are important matters, the shaman becomes a person in outburst. Of course, not always. Shamans have different approaches. Here we are speaking of one of the approaches. They become a person in outburst. This means, translated into the Native American Indian language, a purely inner ascent. Outwardly, they may even look mad. It has nothing to do with it. This is a purely inner ascent, a sacred ascent. With the shamans, there is no hereditary passing down, because there is a rule. Every shaman must conquer their own authority themselves. They must undergo their own dark suffering themselves, their dark night, in order to become an authority. The shaman must possess a voice, an inner voice. The voice, according to the Native Americans, is a scepter in the interior of things, in the invisible domain, when it is sacred. Say the shamans, the world will become more and more truthful only under one condition, when shamans and priests guide education. Of course, people must deserve to be led by such people, but only when shamans and priests guide, only then will the world be mended, because there will be true education in the sacred and beyond. The shaman sees very far ahead. Why? Because they have passed through suffering and the big darkness. From here on, they are allowed to see, to really see far ahead. In this way, they capture the invisible essences. According to the shamans, that which surrounds us, forests, stones, water, air, vegetation, animals, is not just the surrounding environment. This is our family. All of these are our relatives. Trees, animals, plants, even rocks, our relatives, our family. See, what approach? The shaman does not heal. They are merely a pipe through which flows out and pours through the supreme power of the helpers, the ancestors, and most of all, when he has desired of Wakan Tanka. For the shaman, the big devotion to Wakan Tanka, i.e. to the great secret, is the true walking on water, so says one shaman. This is the true walking on water, i.e. translated, walking above life, above the difficulties of life, above the problems of life. This is what walking on water and walking above water means. The shaman, this is the art of making things happen, but making them happen in the sacred way, in the right way. Mysticism. Second idea for contemplation. The person will always stand eye to eye with the great secret, and no matter how much they study it, it will always remain a secret. Do not abandon the secret for life. All the people on this earth originate from one place, from the great secret. The first people were created without fathers. They call them the secret, because they were created through secret. In the beginning, it was speechlessness, a speechless sea. So says the Native American Bible. A speechless sea, skies, land. There were none, only anciency and the ancestors, i.e. the gods of the secret and the sea, and they turned for help towards Uakhan. This is the heart itself of the secret, and they desired to create land, and they created everything along it, trees, plants, animals. They created people too, but the people were very irreverent towards Uakhan Tanka, i.e. towards the great secret, or Uakhan. They were called wooden people, i.e. unaware, and they were destroyed. And one part of the wooden people, i.e. the unsuccessful people, were transformed and became monkeys. This is why monkeys resemble people. They are an unsuccessful attempt. Monkeys are an unsuccessful people. Even before creation, the proto-ancestors reflected on life, on light, and how to make it rise. They asked themselves, who will produce food, i.e. life energy, how to create animals. The ancestors wanted to create animals to be similar to humans, with a voice, so that they may praise Uakhan as well. But this attempt too was unsuccessful. Each one who is here on earth is here because of the Creator. I remember when the Master speaks about reincarnation, he says, sometimes, for one birthing on earth, there is a struggle between millions of beings, but only one must be born. In a particular place, for example, notice how important one incarnation is, so that the soul may descend and walk along its ancient, true way. The Native Americans say, you are always observed by the Great Secret in everything you do. The Great Spirit has given everyone their sacred way. People differ between each other only in the way they use everything that was given to them by Uakhan, by the Great Secret. The Great Secret is greater than all gifts. It is our Creator, it is our story, and we must learn from our own selves, in the sacred way, in order to become worthy of Him. Say the Native Americans, look around you. All things affirm that the Creator has created them. People cannot create a tree, cannot create a rock, cannot create a leaf. All things tell of the Great Secret. Long, long ago, and far back in time, we used to live in this secret, within the Creator, and we were united like the eagle and the sky, and we were free like the wind in the prairie. Proverbs, Sayings, Sentences, Lecture 3. Learn to dance with the obstacles if you want to walk ahead. Do not make even one decision before you have descended very deeply within yourself. Our ancestors communed with fire and storms to make them their allies. The truth is always good to speak. Turn the fits of anger into a song of the sun. So here is how you can use the energy. Turn the fits of anger into a song of the sun. Of course, these are elementary things, but for some they are probably even difficult. Try to grasp your body as pure spirit, and at the same time give your spirit the reality of the body. If one pebble goes missing, the suns will go out. This is how unified, how connected everything is. Broaden the circle of your friends with the trees, the mountains, the stars, the leaves, etc. Song and dance are bridges built towards invisible worlds. To heal, this means to find the lost soul and to reinforce its life force. The young eagle leaves its nest, throws itself into the empty space, throws itself into the void without knowing why. Thrust by the mighty powers of life, it unfolds its wings and becomes an eagle. Comprehend death as an eternal returning. Things converse eternally, notwithstanding time and space. Where the person's eye is, there is nothing for their hands to grasp, because elusive worlds abound everywhere. Only this is important, that you see with eyes deeply shut. Gaze into a fire of burning wood and love the fire. The fire will become your brother and will give to you its warmth and its kindness. Give this which you want to receive. Realize the completeness of life of one blade of grass, and you will be saved. The wise one dwells in shining lonesomeness. Within them there is a place for communion with the whole of nature. What is solitude for the true Native American Indian? Solitude is facing yourself eye to eye without the support of others, so you face yourself without the support of other people. Learn to be silent in order to hear yourself, and the spirit of wisdom will respond to you. Accept solitude as an enlightening, as pure light which draws from its own self beyond the world. The quiet is not empty, it is filled with presence. In it, the person is never left alone. The quiet grants people new eyes to see and new spirit to understand. In solitude, the worthy person does not shiver, does not experience any fear. Here, they are a spirit at peace, reconciled with themselves, filled with themselves. Accept solitude as a call. It means that your spirit is seeking you. Solitude protects the person from their own selves. Do not consider it a fence and a fortress, but a source. Consider solitude a source. Without love, solitude is but a dry land, waterless and with no light. Nothing grows out of it. Fear is an enemy to solitude. If you want to be solitary, first defeat fear. This is why the Native Americans pass through the dark night, the dark suffering. Solitude is the royal way of awakening. Solitude is a peculiar place of power, not of energy, a peculiar place of power. The wise one draws their power from their solitude. Solitude forges arrows of light. For the spiritual way, only one thing is necessary, sharp, wholehearted attention. 3 words. Do not notice the world, and you will capture the wind. The word wind in the Native American language means, as we said before, air cattle. It means the spirit. Only the true person possesses the power and ability to achieve their goals. No one else achieves goals. They achieve some success, but not the true goals of life. I will repeat again. Only the true person possesses the power and ability to achieve their goals. Tell the truth, and things will always be light for you. According to the Mayans, love is the place where you become a god. The Aztecs say, if you have reached somewhere and there is no way further and there is no way out, then become a bird. So when you have no way and no way out, then become a bird. Translated, the word bird in this case means ascension. Become ascension. According to the Incas, work which is not cult is of no matter. So your work, if you are not devoted as a cult, if you are not totally committed, it is already of no matter. It will not be your true master. Wisdom, third idea for contemplation. So, if I must say, I am using around 90 Native American books, around 100 including some inner books, unwritten. If some people are asking where from, they simply want to know. In time, of course, we will have many continuations on Native Americans, Bogomil lectures, etc. Many of the lectures that I present will have many continuations. Wisdom, I will keep my word, says one shaman, until the rocks melt. When I hear the words, I see the quiet of the person. This is one great Native American, a great shaman called White Wind. Most of the thoughts here are his. When I hear the words, I see the quiet of the person. The way is something which ascends upwards, and roads crawl downwards. Our reverence is our recreation. Concentration in the shamanic language means to unite with your own spirit. So, to exit outside the mind, outside of the heart, outside of the world, outside of time, only to unite with your spirit. This is true concentration. Knowledge is connected to the past, and wisdom belongs to the future. We are all learning from one and the same Father. Everything comes from our Father, and this is enough. Accept what is happening, immerse yourself in its miracle and grow. So accept what is happening, immerse in its miracle and grow. I would add, if possible, without questions. Sometimes questions are a hindrance. The wind is more sacred place than any church. I am reminded of Priest Bogomil. Next time we will speak of him. The pastors are absolutely unnecessary. Said by a great master, Boyan Damagus says, the whole of Christianity is unnecessary. The whole of religion is unnecessary. What is necessary is only God. Notice how simple, but during that time those words were a sword. The matter here is of true devotion, not denying, but of the direction of the true way. Next time we will speak of the Bogomils. The wind is a more sacred place than any church. The wind blows over you and purifies you. It is a better place to find God than any church. The wind is a purely spiritual place. I am reminded of the German Bogomils. They say it is even very harmful to pray in a church because churches are saturated with demons. You will see next time what Priest Bogomil and Vasily the healer say very similar things. Also of the holy relics. Vasily the healer explains how demons make these, and they attract the small, poor souls, the abandoned ones, the elderly souls who have given up on development. Translator's note for Vasily the healer, more widely known as Basil the physician. Translator's note of the holy relics. The matter is of physical remains of saints. So it is harmful to pray there because it is saturated with demons, and people think that there is a pure aura in the churches because they do not discern the air. As we are speaking of air here, this is the pure place. This is the place of the free church, of freedom, in the wind. So the power is here, in the wind, say the Native Americans, in the hills, and it comes to life in our hearts, so that through it we may find God. Love is the wise attitude towards things because it brings you into pure contact with your own self. When a person takes the energy of others, they never become a strong and resilient person. The matter is of the ones who insult other people, who anger other people. I know many cases. For example, a woman goes to the marketplace. She says, "Give me this, 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 this." I won't take anything, and leaves. They start thinking about her, and she feeds. I know worse cases. A guy walks into a bookstore and says, because he reads such books, I know him, so anyway, inside there is a woman holding a very small dog. He says, "What is this big dog? I can't stand it," and disappears. And they start thinking of him for a long time, and in this way he eats energy. He will never become strong. He will never become resilient. He will never become immutable and have completeness within himself. I can give many examples, but next time when we speak of influencers according to the Master, the person becomes strong when they create energy within themselves. This happens through prayer, through reasonable silence. I have said through reasonable speaking, through reasonable reading, through reasonable thinking, through reasonable feeling, and as a whole, through constant thinking of divine matters. In this way, the person does not rob others, but they even give to others. This energy that you yourself create within yourself creates, beside this, a new real sight for you. So it helps you reach a new real sight. The other stolen energy, it robs you. There you gain delusions and blindness. Why does this energy which you create within yourself give you a new sight? Because it is honest, say the Native Americans. It is honest and pure energy. We all require internal accumulated power and self-assuredness, especially when we face crisis. big transfigurations. And wisdom is in this precisely, to know that you are always in possession of this inner, personal, pure might. Everything around us is symbols. Dreams are symbols too. Symbols show the way which we walk upon. But to understand the symbol, it means to unlock its energy. In order to unlock its energy, you must enter into it and experience it. When you have a bad habit and it repeats frequently, the Native Americans, the sages say, this means that you have a companion being with you. This causes this bad habit. You have a companion being who takes part in this bad habit. This being stubbornly comes back into you often, but anyone can overcome it if they have become exceptionally honest with themselves. The next lecture is on the 2nd of November. We will talk of the Bogomils. Om.